today what we're going to do is we are going to multiply and divide functions. So far we've added and subtracted functions. Adding and subtracting came down basically to combining like terms or distributing a negative and combining like terms. And we've done linear combinations of functions, which is where we had a number times f plus a number times g. We distributed the numbers and then combined like terms. Multiplying and dividing are a couple of the last function operations we're going to do. Multiplying will either be written like this, g times f of x, or g of x times f of x. Either way, you'll see a times dot in there. The way we're going to handle those is we're going to double distribute and combine like terms. We'll do some examples shortly. Dividing functions, you'll see some sort of division sign, either this one or a fraction. Either way, they mean dividing f function by g function, so f of g of x, or f over g of x, or f of x divided by g of x. For those, all we're going to do is set them up as a fraction. I'll explain that more as we get there. Let's take a look. So, first of all, figure out what operation are we dealing with. We have our g function, we have our f function. This times dot here means that we need to multiply. So to find g times f of n, I need to take my g function, everything after the equal sign, negative n minus 2, and I'm putting that in parentheses, times my f function. I don't have to write a times dot in between here, it's implied. I'm just going to multiply this by this. And when we have things that are more than one term, we show multiplication by writing those things inside parentheses. Now I need to actually do the multiplication. So I'm going to double distribute, so start by distributing negative n. Negative n times n squared is negative n to the third. Negative n times negative n is plus n. Plus n squared. N times n is n squared. Negative 2 times n squared is negative 2n squared. Negative 2 times negative n is plus 2n. I am almost done. Now I need to just combine like terms. Negative n to the third doesn't combine with anything. N squared minus 2n squared. 1 minus 2 gives me negative 1n squared or minus n squared, however you'd like to write that. Plus 2n doesn't combine with anything, so it stays the same. Once I've combined as many like terms as I can, I'm all finished. So set it up as a double distribution, do the double distribution, combine like terms. Notice that I didn't multiply the whole thing by n, that just means n is my variable. Number 2, are we multiplying or dividing? We see a times dot here, so we are going to multiply. We are going to set this up exactly the same way as we did for the last problem. H of x times g of x means take my h function, which is 2x minus 1, and multiply it by my g function, which is x squared minus x. To do that multiplication, I need to double distribute. 2x times x squared is 2x to the third. 2x times negative x is negative 2x squared. Negative 1 times x squared is negative x squared, or negative 1x squared. Negative 1 times negative x is positive 1x or positive x. However you want to write that is fine. From here, we are going to combine any like terms that we can. There's only one x to the third term, so 2x third stays the same. Negative 2x squared minus x squared gives us negative 3x squared. Those are my like terms I can combine. And then positive x is the only regular x term, so it stays the same. I've combined all the like terms I can, so this is my final answer. Now the last two are division, which I said I'd talk more about when we get there. And so usually division is one of the harder operations to do. Like when we saw polynomial long division, that was kind of labor intensive. Typically speaking, division in general tends to be harder. For these problems though, with the ones I'm going to give you, division, all you've got to do is set it up as a fraction. You know you have division when you either see things written as a fraction or with this division sign. So here they want us to find h divided by g of n. That means I'm going to set it up as a fraction. H is on top, so n squared minus 3n goes on the top part of my fraction, or my numerator. G is on the bottom, so n minus 2 goes in the bottom part of the fraction of the denominator. For the types of problems I'm gonna give you, you're not gonna be able to simplify these any further. And so once you have it set up as a fraction, you are all finished. If you continue and take a math class in college, you might have some problems where you have to factor or do some other simplification, but for our purposes for this year, all I want you to know is division equals set up as a fraction. So, this will probably be your favorite because it's pretty easy. Last one, we also know it's division because of this division sign here. But regardless of how it's presented to you, whether it's presented to you as a fraction or with the division sign, I want your answer written as a fraction. Whichever function you see coming first goes in the top part, or numerator, so 2n minus 2 will be in the numerator of my fraction. The second one after the division sign goes in the bottom or denominator of the fraction. Once I have it set up as a fraction, I'm all done. You can't simplify this any further because there's no one number I can divide all of those by evenly, other than 1, which is redundant. That is it for multiplying and dividing functions. Have a wonderful day.